Good afternoon and welcome to the latest edition of the 18 Bad Guys documentary. This week we're delighted to be joined by the one and only Anthony Tony Brubaker, who played the role of B.A. Baracus' stunt double on all of 72 episodes. But also Anthony played one of the bad guys, one of the henchmen in the particular episode in season 3, episode 9. It aired all across the United States and Canada. November the 20th, 1984. The episode was called Showdown. It also featured John Carter, who actually was the body double for Hannibal Smith. He and also Michael Delano, who played the body double for Faceman. They were the three main villains in that show, and it was about a wild west sort of circus that they were trying to put down. I suppose, Tony, most of the people I've interviewed so far have appeared on maybe one or maybe two sort of episodes at most of the A-Team. You've been there in terms of the A-Team for all sort of 5 seasons as such. You know it inside out. Tell me, going back to day one, when did Stephen Cannell come to your doorstep in terms of wanting you to be the main alter ego of B.A. Baracus in terms of being his double?
It's more so as opposed to the producer coming to you. It's the stunt coordinator, Craig Baxley, who hired me to come up and to double B.A. Baracus. And because you make a good double, you can get the job done that he needs done, stunts, as it were.
Mm. And Anthony, in terms of, was that a hard gig? In terms of, I imagine there was an awful lot of stuntmen at the time. Obviously, the A-Team was a big sort of a project. Was it hard to land that role back at the time for you? Had you much competition?
Well, not difficult. It's always difficult if you don't know who the coordinator or producer directors might be. But if you know the coordinator and he knows your capabilities, that eases you into it more so because he has the confidence that you can do the job, that whatever it may be, horses, cars, motorcycles, fights, high falls, whatever the script calls for, you'll be able to do the job. He has that confidence in me, Craig did. So I was able to do the job. So you walk into that with I know I can do the job, but he's knowing that I'm going to be able to do. So it's just a confidence builder for the coordinator, for the company, and for me, as a matter of fact.
And Anthony, can you remember the first day you met Mr. T? In terms of, was it the first day of rehearsals for the first episode, or did you meet him a month in advance before the sort of show start and sat down and have a discussion in person to try and sense out what type of a character he was in terms of his movements and all that?
Well, it was on the pilot. We were down in Mexico on a pilot when I met BA, and I had seen his character before, so I know I didn't see the BA Baracus character, but I saw Mr. T, and I know how the strength that he has going in, and then I was able to see the fight scene that we were going to be doing, or I was going to be doing, to help cover him, so I could watch and see his movements. So it was at the first on the pilot. It all came together on the pilot. Meeting, movement, type of person he is, all of it came together.
And I suppose, Anthony, yourself, John Carter, as such, and the other two stuntmen. I don't know if Michael Delano played Dirk Benedict's stuntman throughout the 5 seasons, and I'm not sure of Dwight Schultz's stunt double, but you were probably the main four stuntmen, I suppose, for all 5 seasons, and probably others were brought in here and there. But one thing that people told me about Stephen Cannell in terms of his stuntmen, even for guest actors, he very much liked them to resemble the character as such, the actor, in terms of appearance, to be, there were sort of mirror sort of doubles, sort of such. And you must have seen many stuntmen come and go throughout the 5 seasons.
Yes, for the most part, the main characters, stayed as the main characters. But there were guys that would come in and go. Well, if you look relatively close physically to the actor, camera can get closer to you. It's easier for them to shoot you as the double. You can't be recognized. You want to be as incognito as possible. Because when I'm on camera as the stunt double for Mr. T, I'm Mr. T. I'm not Tony Brubaker. I want to be as close to him as I possibly can. His movements, his way of doing stuff, his strength movements, everything he does, the better I can mimic him, the closer camera can get to me and still look like him.
And I suppose, Anthony, in terms of the sort of main actors, George Papard, Dwight Schultz, Dirk Benedict, and Mr. T. Obviously, you were one of the main sort of stuntmen, one of the four main stuntmen. You must have had an awful close relationship, the stuntmen and the main actors, obviously working so closely together for all of 5 seasons.
Absolutely, we were like buddies on the set. You know a guy's movement. Some guys are more quiet than others. Some guys you can joke and kid with. On the A-Team, it was like a neighbor, like somebody that lived right next door to you. It was always fun. There was never any hostilities, none that I could see with the 4 of us, or 8 of us, as it were. We were just like, buds, just buddies, friends.
And Anthony, in terms of appearance, that appearance you made in sort of Showdown, the sort of the duplicate sort of A-Team, the sort of bad A-Team as such. How did that sort of idea come about, and when did you first hear about it from Steve Cannell, that you were going to be a sort of put out there in terms of one of the main, you were going to come behind the cognito into the main light, the sort of such?
Well, when you get a script, you get the feeling of the producers, the writers, what they want you to do. And that all you have to say to me is, be as close to B.A. Baracus as you can. You're the bad guy, he's a good guy. So I know anything that I can do, not so much say, but any kind of movement that I can growl at somebody or be mean to somebody, I can do it because I'm the bad guy. And I know I'm the bad guy. Camera knows I'm the bad guy. The audience basically knows that I'm the bad guy. People that probably don't know are the other characters in the show that we're trying to fool, to make them think that we're the A-Team, to get something over on them. But coming to it, it was, like I say, you're the double, so yeah, you can play the part. I can act about that much. I'm that much of an actor, a lot more stuntman than actor. So they figured I could do the job, and I'm there anyway. And the other guys are there. They hire actors and stuff, but it's kind of tough to double a B.A. Baracus because of his physical stature. Not everybody can look like that, but they can put the makeup and the hair and stuff, which helps a great deal. But physically, I was bigger than I am now, because I'm not doing anything stunt wise. But so it just worked out. I was the right physical type with the right abilities to pull off that character.
And Anthony, in terms of the A-Team as sort of such, much is made about the certain personalities and obviously the comedic sort of genius of Dwight Schultz in terms of his ability to go from high to low in terms of his theatrical background. And obviously an awful lot of the regular actors, sort of the main cast, Dirk Benedict, Mr. T, George Papard, they came in with such great reputations. And Dwight was probably the unknown one, but obviously he very much became the sort of shining star of the A-Team as sort of such. And did you really see his talents firsthand? And everyone says Dwight Schultz is probably one of the most friendliest people that you could sort of meet in the industry. And is that your firsthand experience of working with Dwight for 5 seasons?
Yes, my first time. And as you said, he was a great talent, is a great talent, still is, because when you can float in and out of a crazy man to a very intelligent man to a pilot to a very serious soldier to whatever, Dwight can pull it off. He pulls it off. And you can sit there, I can sit and watch him. I believe it. I believe what he's doing. That's a skill level that he had. They all came in with the background of being really, really great actors. When said Dwight was the one least known of the bunch. But after a minute or so, you saw his shining armor come out. He was really, really a good actor. I got a kick out of it myself.
And Anthony, in terms of the stunts working on the A team, you were probably one of the best stunts team in America, probably throughout the world in the 80s in terms of what you did on the A team. And you never really put actors at risk as sort of such. Any actor that wasn't comfortable doing a stunt, you sort of did it. And were there any sort of nervy moments on times shooting for the episode? Because you sort of pushed the boundaries in terms of what you did as well.
Well, there's always that element that you're going to be able to hurt yourself. That's part of the deal. You're coming with an ego about that big. Yeah, I don't care about who knows me or not knowing me, but it's the danger element. Whereas in a script, if it calls for an actor, the old cowboy days, to dive over a bar, and then the actor pops up, well, if that actor dives over the bar and something scratches his face, now the whole company is in a tailspin. You can't afford to hurt your main actors. You can let them do only so much. A lot of them want to do a lot more, but as a producer, director, stunt coordinator, you don't want them taking a chance to hurt themselves. Whereas if an actor, or George Papard or Mr. T, absolutely sprains an ankle or chips a tooth or gets a scrape on his face, now the whole company has to stop. Tony Brubaker knocks out a tooth, cuts himself, gets a stitch or two. Show goes on, no problem. And that's me. That's my job, to keep it safe for the actors. And I enjoy that. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And Anthony, in terms of that episode, sort of Showdown, you had a sort of a fight scene with sort of Mr. T. Obviously, you're the sort of stunt man, and obviously you did most of the stunts for Mr. T. So how did you sort of organize that in terms of that stunt scene? Was it shot from several angles? Were you sort of self-punching yourself?
Exactly. That's it. See, you know that stuff already. Don't let too many cats out of the bag, though. But yeah, you can punch yourself, take a punch from yourself, be both people, be one person, be yourself, be the other guy. Yeah, it's camera stuff. It's just an illusion, smoking mirrors, as it were. But I love that illusion, being able to be Mr. T or whomever it is I double. I like being that person. And other people said, well, that guy's doing his own stunts. Fine. I don't mind that. I like that, because I'm doing my job. You pay me to be that person, I'm going to be that person. I don't want you to see me. I want you to see that character.
And I suppose, Anthony, you were probably the only person outside a select few that know this sort of question, and has been endearing on so many people's minds. What is it like to drive the A-Team sort of van, and what's it sort of, do you remember, is it a good sort of vehicle? Does it hit gears fairly well? Is it a smooth sort of a drive? Because you were probably one of those select few that have ever driven that.
That's true. Yeah. We had, there was a principal van, which is obviously the principals, and there was a stunt van. We did little tweaks here and there to kind of enhance what we have to do to it. Like if you're going to launch a van or jump it at all, you got to reinforce the struts. You got to do the shocks. You got to do the springs. You want to be able to use it a second time. If you wreck it on the first time because it's just a stock van, well, now what do? You can't use it anymore, and the rest of the day is blown. So yeah, we just kind of superficially, it looks like the other one, but superficially we just add to it a little bit so it can take a little bit more punishment, because we do punish them.
And in terms of some of the sort of gun scenes that you have done throughout your time in the A-Team, I imagine they were sort of very sort of fun in terms of almost like cops and sort of robbers or sort of such, playing out those roles. And sometimes for the actors looking on in terms of Mr. T and Dirk, obviously sort of looking on saying, God, I wish I could be doing that in terms of firing bullets and blanks and sort of stuff like that, with envy towards the stuntmen and sort of such.
They did that. The actors did all that we did, short of hurting themselves. They did the same things that we did, or we did the same things that they did. They shot all the weapons. They were very proficient with them and very safe, because although they're blanks, they can still hurt you. So the actors we're all well schooled in using them. Like if I'm going to point a weapon, I'm not going to point it directly at your face. Whereas in camera, this looked like it's right at my face. Whereas I go sideways, there's a depth perception that you can't see it not pointing right at my face. They're empty, they're blanks, they're hollow. There's nothing there. When you see an actor doing this, it's usually empty, because you want the security in your own mind of, I can't get hurt with this, but as an actor, I have to act like this can kill me. That's two different places. You want a secure thought of it's empty, I can't get hurt, and the acting character-wise of, I could die from this. So you want both ends of it. And the actors see the guns going off and stuff. It's loud, they're very loud. They can blow your ears out. So we try to protect the hearing, the eyes. You protect yourself and everybody around. And if shooting in a general direction, you make sure there's nobody over there that a blank could hit, paper wadding could hit. But if they did all the stuff that we did, short of being able to hurt themselves.
Anthony, sometimes in these interviews, I ask about the great George Peppard and what he was like, but George no longer with us. But obviously, his stunt double was John Carter, and sadly, he's no longer with us as well. Tell me, what was John Carter like as a stuntman in terms of his ability? I know he acted a good bit as well.
At that rate, most of the time, when the guys that they had doubling them there, I worked with a different stunt group of guys that wasn't those particular guys. The guys I worked with were a totally different group. More so stunt, like 99.9% stunt, and 0.1% actor. So most of the guys that they had there, doubling them there, wasn't where I was.
Okay, so you had two or three different lots of sort of stuntmen in terms of different sort of roles within the A-Team.
For the most part, they were your main. Well, I can say that in my mind, I know I was with the first group, the A group, A-Team group, whatever, however you wish to word it, with three different guys that weren't the guys that were aforementioned. They weren't with the group that I was with. And as actors, when we did the bad guys, those were actors there doing their thing, and I was with them as an actor as opposed to the stunt guy.
Okay. And Anthony, in terms of once the 5 seasons came to an end, obviously an historic show shown all over the globe, the A-Team many times and dubbed in so many languages as sort of such. And I know speaking to some actors, they still get residuals coming in the door to their house from their time on the A-Team. But you obviously had a real good working relationship with the likes of Dwight Schultz, with the likes of Dirk Benedict, Mr. T, sadly George Barr no longer with us. Were you able to keep those relationships going after once the 5 seasons were up? And did you work with maybe Dirk or Dwight on any project later on after the A-Team or such?
Unfortunately, not one day with any of the aforementioned actors. As a stunt person or as a next door neighbor, we had that relationship, great working relationship. But after the show was over, they went on to different projects. I went on to different projects. It just takes you in 10 different directions. So I haven't had the pleasure of working with any of those guys anymore. George, unfortunately, rest in peace. We can't. Well, I haven't had that fun. It would be enjoyable again to do that, but unfortunately, we can't. or in the industry, it doesn't happen that often to do 18 number 2 the second 5 years. No such animal that I've ever heard of anyway. So I've not had that pleasure yet, but one of these days maybe.
And Anthony, in terms of the 80s, 5 seasons of the A Team, I suppose there was roughly 20 after season one. I know definitely season two, three, and four, they were all 20 season episodes, 20 episodes per season as such. Was obviously you're one of the main stuntmen. Was that an awful long sort of working year for you? Because you were probably away from family, loved ones, because that was a full position, full-time profession. Because when you were working on the A Team for that season, I imagine that it went on for 9-10 months, and that was your probably one and only gig. I imagine you weren't probably able to do stunts and other gigs.
Well, you can't, because you want to focus on that one show. Usually it was a 2 or 3 day stunt days that you'd come out on the show, sometimes more. Sometimes you'd be there for a week, day in and day out, morning to night. But we were always able, for the most part, to go home every night, unless we were on a distant location where they put us up in the hotels. It was few and far between from where I was standing. As far as being away from home for a week or two or a month, no, other than the pilot. Other than the pilot, you usually were able to sleep in your own bed every night.
And Anthony, in terms of those locations, you probably almost probably saw some of the most breathtaking sort of views that California had to offer in terms of where you shot, in terms of offset sort of locations. Any sort of real memory or story spring to mind from one of those sorts of locations where you shot that maybe a sort of a lucky sort of scene or a lucky escape or a funny story or something like that that still holds a place with you 30 or 40 years on?
All of them, like I say, it was places that we've been or I've been before because of other jobs and stuff and other locations. But it's the people that you're around, which helps that it enhance that location. Like if we were up in Sacramento on the Delta, and it was with somebody that you didn't really like too much, it would be such an okay location. But you go out with the A Team in the same location, that location takes on a whole different meaning. It's a lot more fun. And all we had breakfast, usually in the same spot. Lunch was always with the same people. And dinner sometimes, if you ate in a hotel, if it was a little distant, you ate at the hotel, and you'd bump into those guys after you worked with them all day. It was just nice just to be able, first of all, to work. Second of all, to work around people you liked and got along with, and to do fun stuff. It was a fun show to do like that. For the most part, nobody died. The good guys always won. The kids got to see Mr. T. There was the highs and the lows of the characters, and you put them on a precipice and they get away. They crash a helicopter, everybody runs away from the helicopter. So it's enjoyable. The show was a great, enjoyable show. I wish I could do it. I wish I'd been able to do it for 20 years. Unfortunately, it only lasted 5, but that was okay.
And Anthony, the last sort of question before I let you go, sort of such, and I'm going to sort of rack your brains on this one. Let's pretend there was an A Team encyclopedia, a dictionary as such, and in terms of bad guys and sort of such, the imposter of BA. If someone put that character into the dictionary, and they left 2 blank sentences underneath it. Having portrayed that role, Anthony Tony Brubaker, what would you like those 2 sentences to read?
The BA lookalike was a really bad guy. He was just the opposite of Mr. T. And he had to be that way because they were pulling a sham on people. He did a pretty good job as bad guys go. But deep down inside, after they said cut, he was a good guy again.
He was a good guy again. Anthony Tony Brubaker, an absolute pleasure talking to you. Not many people have appeared in 72 episodes of the A Team as sort of such, and you have a long sort of lasting legacy in terms of the A Team sort of franchise. One of its founding members, there for all 5 seasons. Obviously, you have some great stories for family and loved ones to tell about your times and experience at the A Team. Thanks very much for sharing those experiences with us today. We very much enjoyed your time. And Anthony, in this troublesome world, do stay safe, and we wish you a prosperous 2021. Anthony Tony Brubaker.
Thank you very much. The pleasure has been all mine. I love it over there, now over in Ireland too, as well. You have a blessed day, my brother.
Cheers. Take care, Anthony.
Thank you. Bye-bye.